Alright, welcome back to Demon Slayer, Anime Review Episode number 6. Now, you're probably thinking, Nick, you're reviving this series? Well, the series is back, so why the heck not? Yep, now it's back as a regular anime review series, even though technically the last time I reviewed anything for this series was the movie. Yep, the movie, which was Mugen Train. That came out in April of this year. Yep. But yeah, this is the first regular episode I've done in 2 years, even though last one I did was about 8 months ago. Yep. This one is the first episode of the Entertainment District, also in the manga. They refer to it as the Red Light District arc. I'm not really sure why the name was changed for, but it was. Now, this episode is technically, if I can get the right thing here, let's see, yeah. Technically, this episode is the 34th episode of the series, but it's the first episode of the Entertainment District arc. It's the first of presumably 11 to 12 episodes of this thing. Now, the episode itself is allegedly was supposed to be an hour, but it's about 47 minutes. But still close to an hour. Not bad. It's equivalent of about 2 episodes. This episode covers about 5 chapters. Well, technically it covers 4 full chapters of the manga, because they kind of already adapted. 6 basically was done as a recap. So mostly put, this episode covers roughly 4 chapters. Well, technically you could say it covers chapters 66 to 70, but 6 was basically, they adapted most of this already for, it basically was done for a recap. Mostly put, and this is a damn good episode. Like, this picks up like right after the events of where the movie left off, like right after everybody's reacted to everything. We do have additional thing here of the master of the demon corps saying, "Oh, that's what Tanjiro said." Basically, when he said that line to those lines to a demon when he was running away. This same demon does pop up in the episode. As a matter of fact, you see this mysterious boy. He's like this whole sequence, this whole little sequence. They have a couple original things in this episode. First, we see this mysterious boy where he goes to the library, sees like the librarian. The librarian himself briefly appears, and he disappears. Don't know what happened to him. This boy walks up the steps, walks up the ladder, takes out a book, like, holds it the whole time on the way home from wherever he is, and then we cut to what appears to be his parents' house. We talk about how awesome he is, but in fact he has a skin condition, like a drug for him. In fact, he might be a potential heir of the company. Your couple that's there describes his son as an idiot. And then we see him reading the book. And then we see the window open to his study. Yes, a little boy, a teenager having his own study. Probably his father's study. And a demon comes in. Yes, it's the very same demon from the Mugen Train film. This is Upper 3. That's what he's referred to as. Where this is him just after he had just survived, well, killing Manjaro, the fire Hashira for the movie. And also probably thinking, where's Tanjiro's sword? Wasn't it in his body? Well, they realized in a flashback a little bit later where he actually moved the sword and he basically shredded the damn sword with his own claws. So he basically is asked a couple questions. He basically gives a report. He was asked to find this black spider lily, and he doesn't find it, but he did report to him he killed a Hashira. And apparently, this boy is actually Mugen. Well, Majin, his name is, the main villain of the series. Yep, one of the many times he could take a different form. He doesn't necessarily have, you could say, when he first appeared in that first city arc, I think it was the 3rd arc of the series. Yeah, 3rd arc. That was technically what he really looks like, because the guy can change even his gender. Because at the end of season 1, he transformed into a woman. Yes, a beautiful woman. So he's disappointed in him, not because he killed a Hashira. He's probably very happy the fact he killed him, but he's not happy he let 3 other demon slayers live. And he, of course, is sort of chastised. He's sort of like punished for not killing him, and of course he's allowed to live. And walks away. And that's why I say Mugen in this episode, because next thing you do see is, well, the 3 when they're back at the hospital, which they do show in the flashback that Tanjiro was basically depressed over Renja's death, so they basically were having, or Zenosuke, where he just basically, he just crying, and of course he's having the box that carry Nezuko, he's having that in his back, and Inosuke is basically just crying too. And then we see him where he swaps out some pork buns. Yeah, this whole little sequence, complete anime original. Excuse me. So, he goes to see Tanjiro, and apparently Tanjiro is missing, according to one of the little girls. Now, there is a slight change here. In the manga, this bed was a mess. Here, it's like, basically all folded up, looks quite nice. And we're thinking, where the heck Tanjiro go? Well, he took Nezuko with him to go visit Renju's father and brother because he has messages for them. And he gets there. Now, this whole scene is completely the same as it was in the manga. Not much change here. They did change some words. Yes, I would say a few words here and there are changed. But mostly put, this whole scene is spot on. I do appreciate the anime basic covered this scene really well. I will talk about the opening credit sequence a little bit later when I get to what happened at the end. So, basically, he introduced himself. He basically tells them about, because he heard his brother with his messages. And then, of course, the father comes out. He talks about the sun breathing technique. Yeah, this is definitely pulled direct from the manga. Basically, a lot of the stuff in this scene is straight manga dialogue. Very little change here. And they basically spat back and forth. Of course, the father is basically insulting Renjiro. And then they get into a small fight. And, of course, we have this guy who used to be a Hashira. And then the fight ends when Tanjiro hits one of his infamous headbutts. Yes, his infamous headbutts. And the father doesn't have a problem with it at all. The fact he got headbutt in the face. Yes, by a young demon slayer. And of course, he thinks he's a sun breather because of his earrings. And of course, he's reminiscent about his father. And then, of course, Sanjiro, that is Renjiro's brother, gives him a book that chronicled the Fire Hashiras. And of course, it reveals where his father is. He's out buying more sake, despite the fact he got hit in the head really hard. So, he actually is very appreciative of the fact he stood up to his father. Probably earned his father's respect by headbutting him. Tanjiro has this thing where he headbutts a lot of people in the series. A lot of the time just to get their attention, or at least to knock off whatever the heck they're doing. But that's simply Tanjiro for you. So, he looks at the book, and of course he's offered tea, and he reads like, oh crap, what is this? And of course we have someone come over and see that some of the pages are missing, like there's some half pages there. It is suggested that Sanjiro's father did this, though exactly what was on those pages is not explicitly revealed. And of course, after being there for a bit, he leaves, and of course he politely walks back. Of course, Sanjiro points out though that Tanjiro is not exactly fully healed yet. So he walks back to the Butterfly Mansion, where he is attacked by the guy who makes the sword. Yep, who basically chases him like constantly, runs up a tree, and it turns out he ran him like almost all day until frickin' daybreak. And basically he's able to calm down thanks to dumplings. Yes, dumplings. So they're able to have a meal per se. And then, of course, they go through some training. I love the scene where you have the three little girls around the three guys' back while doing push-ups. I thought that scene was so adorable. I'm so glad they kept that in the anime. Yep. Then, of course, they do their training. And then, of course, you have Tanjiro going on an actual mission. They do mention in the manga, right after he completed his training, he did go on a solo mission. They didn't show it. And this solo mission, having this be here, is perfect. Because there's nothing that says the solo mission did not happen in the manga. They just added this in because, well, they probably like, okay, so, because if you just have basically, like, oh, he just come back from something, basically having the solo mission is perfectly fine. Yep. Yeah, so, basically the solo mission is this. Go kill a Spire Demon at a mountain shrine. Okay, and you have Nezuko, who actually did not think of the particular demon. This particular demon is complete anime original. Now here's the thing. My only guess is the reason why they include this scene. Number one, fits basically here, and number two, it's called Demon Slayer, so why not have Tanjiro show us some moves? He apparently got a new sword, so he fights the thing, chases up to a barn, kills it. Pretty quick fashion, only lasts about 5 minutes, but it's a really good scene. And he goes back, and then he hears voices at the Battle Mansion, like some yelling going on. And then we see the Sound Hashira is there. Yes, the Sound Hashira is there. And he's taking two of the girls. One of whom is a member of Demon Slayer Corps, the other one isn't. And it is pointed out to him the other one is not, so he's tossed. Of course, they... Yep, so basically, Kano, by the way, she's voiced by... This is the same character who is voiced by Brienne Knickerbocker in the English dub, which hopefully she gets a chance to dub this one because it'd be really awesome if she does. Even though she's only here just for the scene, but it's great to see her, where she apparently really wants to flip her coin, but they have a little flashback from last season, where Tanjiro says, just follow your own inner voice. And of course, try to stop him, and then of course... Tanjiro shows up. He tries to headbutt him. The guy misses. Of course, he jumps on top. Of course, he does toss the little girl down. Of course, Tanjiro does catch the girl, which I do appreciate of that. Of course, also, he does have one of the girls fall on his back, which also has Nezuko in there. And there is a slight wording change, and I do appreciate this. Is so awesome. And of course, he does, like, I want you to take... And what it mentions basically that we can't take her, we'll take her place. And he's thinking, we... And that's where Inosuke and Zenitsu and Inosuke show up, and they all three of them volunteer to take her place. And he's like, okay, fine. And then he proceeds to smack her butt. I'm like, yeah, that's completely unnecessary. And then apparently he said it off screen, and then they go off. And that's the episode. It's a good episode. I do appreciate the fact that the chapters they did for this episode are technically the epilogue for Mugen Train. And it makes perfect sense for them to start off with this. I was kind of hoping they would do this for season 2 when I first heard about this particular season happening. I'm like, that's good. And then I heard, oh crap, this thing's going to be down for 11 episodes. Is basically the rest of the season going to be like an hour long? Don't know. We'll find out next week when the next episode comes out. I do appreciate, though, the opening title sequence is just like... It's like watching a movie. And it is shocking, though, the fact this was almost an hour long. But it definitely felt like a movie. And it felt like, though, the studio really put a lot of money into this episode. But it was really damn good. And I'm definitely looking forward to next week, which is going to be starting off the Entertainment District arc. Now, before I end this, I should basically... announce my anime order right now, basically. So, when I start off on Sundays, I'm going to start with One Piece. This is providing the fact I actually managed to watch Case Closed on Saturday. And, of course, rest of the world, obviously. So, on Sunday, I'll first start with One Piece, then Mushoku Tenshin, and then this series. Mushoku Tenshin in the middle, purely, this is, of course, on Funimation, purely because Mushoku Tenshin's got 2 more episodes left, and that's it for that one. And then once that one ends, Demon Slayer will take its spot. And of course, the last one will be Boruto. So it would decrease from 4 to 3. And that will happen basically 3 weeks from now. Basically on the 26th, basically the day after Christmas. I'm hoping they release episodes that day. Well, much One Piece though, because, excuse me, a couple weeks from this coming Saturday, it's going to be Christmas. So who knows if they're going to release a new episode or not. It depends upon the networks. Okay? So yes, that's a particular view. As for another video today, that's a maybe in that part. So the only one that might come later on is probably maybe, well, I'm going to announce this right now. I'm reading this book, so I'm going to do this anime soon. It'll be The World's Finest Assassin Gets Reincarnated in Another World as Aristocrat. As soon as I finish reading this book, which probably soon, I will hopefully get a chance to watch and maybe review the first 2 episodes of the series. Okay? Do this video. Bye.